Good morning. I'm sat on a bench at the moment in the West End Burial Ground in Hampshire. Today we are here to visit the final resting place of a hero. He was a man responsible for saving the survivors from the Titanic disaster. He was the captain of the Carpathia, which rushed to the rescue, and his name was Sir Arthur Henry Rostron. Sir Arthur Henry Rostron, he was basically in bed, asleep, when the radio man received the message from the Titanic that it struck the iceberg. And he jumped out of his bunk, made his orders. The ship steamed at full steam towards the reported incident. And well, anyway, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. If you do like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified of any videos that I upload. But what I'll do now is I'll spin you around. It's only a very small burial ground, this, but I'll spin you around and we'll have a little wander about and have a look at it before we visit the final resting place of Sir Arthur Henry Rostron.
Arthur Henry Rostron was born in 1869 in Bolton, Lancashire, England, to James and Nancy Rostron. He received his education at Bolton Grammar School and Bolton Church Institute. In 1884 he joined the Merchant Navy cadet school ship HMS Conway as a cadet. After 2 years of training on the Conway, he was apprenticed to the Waverley Line of Messrs Williamson, Milligan and Co. in Liverpool on the iron clipper ship Cedric the Saxon. In 1887, Rostron joined the barque Red Gauntlet as a second mate. Soon after, he left the Waverley Line and joined the barque Camphill. He was commissioned a sub-lieutenant in the Royal Naval Reserve on the 28th of April 1893. In December 1894, Rostron served on the steamship Concord, after which he passed the examinations for his extra master's certificate. On the 14th of September 1899 he married Ethel Minnie Slothert in St John the Baptist Church in Atherton. Rostron joined the Cunard Line in January 1895 and earned a position of 4th officer on the ocean liner RMS Umbria. In the years that followed he would serve on other Cunard ships including Aurania, Etruria, Servia, Cherbourg, Altonia and Saxonia. He temporarily left the Cunard Line to serve with the Royal Navy during a period of international tension occasioned by the Russo-Japanese War of 1904 to 1905. Rostron subsequently returned to the Cunard Line. He was made first officer of RMS Lusitania in 1907, but was transferred to the Brescia and promoted to ship's captain the day before the Lusitania's maiden voyage. Brescia and his next several ships served the Mediterranean region, including his first passenger ship RMS Pannonia, whose New York Mediterranean route he commanded from 1st of January 1911. He became captain of the passenger liner RMS Carpathia on 18th of January 1912. Carpathia was on its regular route between New York City and Flume, Austria-Hungary, when early on the 15th of April 1912 she received a distress signal from White Star Line ocean liner RMS Titanic, which had struck an iceberg during its maiden voyage. Rostron was asleep when Carpathia's wireless operator Harold Cottam contacted Titanic at 12:15 AM to relay regular private party wireless traffic from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, United States. Titanic, which had struck the iceberg at around 11:40 PM, replied with a distress message and call for help. Cottam ran to Rostron's cabin to alert him. Rostron immediately ordered a ship to race towards Titanic's reported position. He ordered that the heating should be turned off to ensure maximum steam for Carpathia's engines and had the ship prepared for survivors. Rostron highly praised his crew for their efficiency in his report to line management. Speaking of the risk taken by running through dense ice at speed at night, he is reported to have said, "I can only conclude another hand than mine was on the helm." When Rostron believed he was nearing Titanic, he ordered green starburst rockets launched to alert the sinking ship if she was still afloat, or her survivors if she wasn't. Carpathia began picking up survivors about an hour after the first starburst was seen by those in the lifeboats. Carpathia would end up rescuing 705 survivors of the 2,228 passengers and crew on board Titanic. At least one survivor is said to have died after reaching the ship. After consulting with White Star Line Managing Director and Titanic survivor J. Bruce Ismay, Rostron decided to turn the ship around and return to New York City to disembark the survivors. Later, Rostron testified at both the US Senate and the British Wreck Commissioner's inquiries into the sinking. Titanic survivors, including Margaret Brown, presented Rostron with a silver cup and gold medal for his efforts that night. The cup was sold for $200,000 at an auction in Wiltshire in October 2015. He was also awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, the Thanks of Congress, the American Cross of Honor, a medal from the Liverpool Shipwreck and Humane Society, and a gold medal from the Shipwreck Society of New York. Rostron was highly praised for his efforts in both the American and British inquiries into the disaster. Rostron continued in command of the Carpathia for a year before transferring to RMS Carpathia. Afterwards, from 1913 to 1914, he took command of RMS Carpathia, RMS Campania and RMS Lusitania. In September 1915, Rostron joined the RMS Mauretania, and in April 1916 he joined the Ivernia in the Mediterranean Sea. In 1919 he was made a Commander of the Order of the British Empire in the New Year's Honours List, and in July 1926 he was knighted as a Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire. Rostron lived in Holmcroft, West End, Southampton. After his retirement in May 1931, he became a member and later captain of the Southampton Master Mariners Club and wrote his autobiography, Home from the Sea. When his former ship, the Mauretania, sailed for Scotland to the shipbreakers in 1935, Rostron was supposed to be on board. However, overcome with emotion, he refused to board her and instead waved farewell from the pierside, preferring to remember the ship as she was when he commanded her. Rostron and his wife had been visiting their daughter Margaret in Caen when he was taken ill. He developed pneumonia and died at the Cottage Hospital, Chippenham, on the 4th of November 1940, aged 71. He was survived by his wife Ethel Minnie and their 4 children. Ethel died on the 7th of July 1943 at the age of 69. They are buried side by side in the graveyard of West End Church, which is where we are today.
Well, that's all the information I could get on Arthur Henry Rostron. As you heard, an absolute hero. There would have been a hell of a lot more victims of the Titanic if he hadn't come charging to the rescue, him and his crew. He did everything going by the book, and things that other captains probably wouldn't have even thought about, like turning the heater off to get more steam to the engines. But anyway, his final resting place is just up ahead of me, so I'll turn you around and we'll go and have a look at it together. Right, here it is, just down here. You can't really miss this one. It's the biggest, brightest one in here that I've seen. And here it is. In loving memory of my dear husband, Sir Arthur Henry Rostron, KBE RD RNR, died November the 4th, 1940, aged 71 years. Also of Ethel Minnie, the beloved wife of the above, died July the 7th, 1943, aged 69 years. Sir Arthur Rostron, captain of RMS Carpathia, saved 706 souls from SS Titanic on 15th of April 1912. An absolute hero. With that, let's get the whole thing in shot. that is the final resting place of Sir Arthur Henry Rostron. Well, that was the final resting place of Sir Arthur Henry Rostron, an absolute legend. I can't imagine what it must have been like on that night. I mean, by the time he arrived, the Titanic would have already gone down. All he would have seen is a few lifeboats and a lot of bodies floating in the water. Absolutely incredible man. Anyway, that is it for another video. I will see you on the next one, wherever I am. So bye bye for now.